So you've designed your empire in Stellaris, but you want to start playing the game now, right? You enjoyed what you got, you like what you got, so you have to decide how to play the game. So once you've chosen your empire, you've clicked select, and now you come to the game's detail page. Now this is just a lot of numbers, makes no sense what's happening. So we're going to walk you through that so you understand what's happening. So our first one, our galaxy size. I'm pretty sure that's pretty straightforward. You can make the size based on the way you like things, how you want to make them, that kind of stuff. In this case, we're going to select medium, 600 stars in the entire map. If you want to get bigger, it's great, you can. I would suggest always medium is great for a game. The more stars you get, the more your FPS tanks, the more the game tanks, because the multiple AI empires are thinking so much, so it kind of just makes your computer melt. But it's up to you. Whichever is more interesting and more beneficial for you, that's what we'll do. Second one, galaxy shape, elliptical, spiral. So spiral, two arms. So the arms of a spiral galaxy, sort of like the like almost like an octopus arm coming out that's going in a circle. So you can choose how many arms you like, whichever is good for you. If you want to do ring, elliptical, I suggest stay with elliptical. It's pretty straightforward. It's great on the eyes. I enjoy it. It's pretty nice. Next one, AI empires. Pretty straightforward. The number, scroll wheel, based on how many AI are going to be in the game alongside you, and when we get in a little bit more. Next one, advanced AI start. Now again, if you hover over, you can read these kind of things. They all explain what's happening. Advanced AI start, it's very straightforward. If you want the AI to be really smart beside you, you could do it. It's more for challenge players. If you really just want to have a good fun, I would say just turn it off. But again, up to you. Again, you have these buttons on the side. You can click it. It'll automatically randomize them for you when you jump into the game, so you won't even know. But if it's beneficial to you, if you want to just have fun for the first time, sure, go ahead. Fallen Empires. The Fallen Empires are fun ones. So Fallen Empires, think of it this way. They're an alien species that have been living in the galaxy prior to your people even having biological footstep on your planet. These guys have been around for so long. They got so powerful. They're so technologically advanced. And they're just like, we are the coolest people in the world. And Fallen Empires, basically what happens is they get so powerful. At one point, they're like, we're so cool, let's just go to sleep. And what happens is they just decide to be a stagnant and quiet empire. And they just, mend their ways, stay to themselves. And towards the end game, they kind of wake up and be like, hey, what's up, everybody? We're here to take over the galaxy again. So this number basically decides how many you want in the game. Depending on the size. Again, I would always suggest you have one. It's always a great fun for a medium empire. It's a medium galaxy. It's not that bad. Marauder Empires. Those are fun ones. Marauders are basically like your galaxy-wide pirates. They love to go around and ask for tribute from people. They like to raid people's planets, empires' planets, steal their populations. Maybe sell them into slavery or, steal resources, those kind of things. Again, you can randomize and choose a number. For your basic game, if you want to learn these, who they are. Again, some of these might not be here because you probably don't have the DLCs, but that's all right. You can choose you one usually. If you want, you can switch them off, but I like to keep one. Tech and tradition costs. So, in Stellaris, when you do research, you need a certain research output from your planet. So you need to get that certain research output in order to sort of get that technology you want. And there's a certain cost to that technology. So the more research output you have, the faster you can research your technology per month. So people who are crazy, they love to go all the way to 5 times, which means it's 5 times the regular amount. If you leave it at 1, it's just a normal amount. For someone that's new in the game, I would say 0.25. It makes the game go faster though, but it's a great way of understanding the sort of technologies you get and those kind of things. Habitable Worlds. So Habitable Worlds is the amount of planets in the galaxy that are actually habitable in the means that they can be colonized by any sort of species that has a good amount of people on them. So I would suggest you keep this under 2x2, because when it gets a little too high, again, the AI start colonizing a lot of planets, more population gets put on, and then it kind of slows down the computer and your game a lot, and especially it starts tanking your FPS. So if you don't want your computer to explode, I would suggest keeping it under 2. Usually most people keep it at 1x, but I would say 1.25 is great. Gives you a little bit more planets, and again, like for example, our empire, they love continental worlds. So you might not get continental worlds, you might get other worlds, but again, there's a form of technology of terraforming, so you can take care of that, which we will talk down the road. Primitive civilizations, these are great. So primitive civilizations are civilizations that have not properly learned the advanced technologies of FTL drive, meaning that they might be they can't come to space, and they can't join the galactic community and be a galactic contender kind of thing. So these are just some species you can find, and then we'll talk about that later down the road in a different video. I would just suggest keeping them at 1, and if you really want to play around them, 1.25, but again, just leave them at 1. Crisis strength is beautiful, a lot of fun. Crisis strength, so the crisis at the end of the game, the game tests you with your wonderful skills and how you manage to survive, diplomacy, and all of your resource collection, along with your fleet, on defending the galaxy from a threat that is not known to the galaxy. So the crisis strength is very straightforward. It just depends on how powerful that end game boss kind of thing is going to be. You could put it all the way down to not having the strength at all, meaning that they're not even going to be in the game at the end game. Or you can do 2.5, or you can go all the way up to times 25, which if you do this and you can manage to do this, I swear to God, I want to be your friend. So that's the kind of stuff you want to think about. For new people, you want to do 0.25 if you like, right? Or if you really want to challenge, you can do 1, especially with the new galaxy, the new galactic community features. It's become a little much easier for the crisis to happen. Yeah, if you want, you can leave it at 0.25 just to understand. Crisis type. There are multiple crisis types, which you can Google them yourselves on the side, but when the end game comes, we'll come to that video, we'll talk about that. I just say select it at random. It's always great to figure out. Mid-game, end game, and victory year. Don't even touch it, just leave it. Unless you want to play more time in the game. Honestly, I've been playing a game, and I've been waiting for the end game and the victory game, and I messed around with it. And seriously, it gets real boring unless you understand what's happening. So just stick with these kind of things, and then we'll talk about the victory staff and stuff like that in a different video. But for now, just stick with these. Difficulty. Difficulty straightforward. I'm sure you understand. Ensign, Captain, Commodore, Admiral, Grand Admiral, Cadet, Ensign. So again, you can choose the kind of difficulty you would like for the game. Again, Cadet all the way up to Grand Admiral makes the game harder and harder for you. Someone who's new, maybe Cadet or Ensign is usually good for you. Scaling difficulty. So this is where it kind of it shows based on your progress in the game how much the difficulty of the game is going to increase. So it sort of allows the AI to catch up to you and sort of stay on the same par, so it's easier for you to understand what's happening in the game. AI aggressiveness, it's just based on how aggressive they're going to be, if they want to go to war with people, if they don't want to go to war with people, if they want to go to war with you or not, that kind of stuff. Just stick with normal. Empire placement, clustered, means that, again, based on the different type, you can click random, clustered, random. Again, I would say just click random. Clustered means that they're going to be really close together. Random, pretty straightforward. Advanced neighbors. This is a great one. So wherever your empire spawns, your neighbors will be like stronger than you, kind of. So yeah, I would just say switch it off for someone who's specifically new. Again, you can always do that for the extra challenge, but again, all up to you. All up to your decision. Where are we? Hyperlane density, abandoned gateways, and wormhole pairs. Leave these at 1. At one point, it just gets so crazy. Just leave them at 1. Guaranteed habitable worlds. For someone who's new, I always suggest just leave it at 2. These guaranteed habitable worlds means that close to your home planet, you'll be guaranteed a certain number of planets, 1, 2, or 0 off of how many planets that you are guaranteed, so that you can at least expand close to your people. Last few, caravaneers. These are very straightforward. They're basically they're traders. You turn them on, that means the traders will be there. They'll offer you some really cool, gifts kind of thing. Well, I won't say gifts, but they can trade with you. You can offer them some of your energy credits. They'll give you money, but we'll talk about that in a different video. Xeno Compatibility. So this one is sort of like enables or disables the option for this Ascension perk to be picked. Just ignore it, honestly. The game knows its defaults. Just leave that. Iron Man mode. This one's a great one. If you want achievements in this game, you have to turn it on. Now, Iron Man mode, just like every other Paradox game, if you have it on, it means that they will save the game for you, and you cannot go back and sort of fix your saves or fall back your saves. So if you keep it on, it tells you that it is enabled. So this game is enabled for achievements because you have Iron Man mode on. If I switch it off, this game is not enabled for achievements. I would suggest for your first game, you have Iron Man mode off. So if you ever make a mistake or you're like, oh shucks, what do? You can jump back to one of your old saves and sort of continue on from there. Cool. So these are sort of the details of the games that you'd want to know. And when you have done those things, you can press the play button and go into the game. So hopefully that brings you the understanding of our game details. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode where we talk about starting off the basics of the game.